Hi, my name is Franklin Bartol, and I'm a recent graduate of University College London and Yale. I'll admit I've never made soup from scratch. I've thought about it a lot and looked up recipes, but it always involves so much cooking time and so much prep work with all the vegetables and the chopping that I just kind of give up before I ever get started. So today I hope to show you a busy student's soup. It's super fast, very easy to make because most of the ingredients are already set for you to go. They're coming in canned goods already cooked. So I'm going to show you how to make lentil soup. That's one of my personal favorites. Now you might want to make a lentil soup that's cheaper or that's vegan or vegetarian or gluten-free or doesn't have added preservatives. There's lots of reasons to want to make your own homemade lentil soup, and hopefully these tips will help you out. So I'm going to start with a saucepan over low to medium heat, and I added a tablespoon of olive oil or vegetable oil, and that's so the vegetables don't stick. And I started with half an onion chopped up. Now you can use a yellow onion, white onion, any onion that's good for cooking. So I let that simmer for about 8 minutes or so, and then I'm adding a tablespoon of minced garlic. Now if you want to go with the fresh garlic, you could also get 3 cloves of garlic and mince them yourselves, but otherwise you can get minced garlic at the store. So just move that around a little bit as it cooks for a couple more minutes, the onions and the garlic, and that provides a nice flavorful base for our soup. So next we want to add the liquid for our soup, and we're going to add some broth. Now you might not realize that you can get pre-made broth at the store. It's usually really cheap, and you can get different types of meat broth or some vegetable broth. So I have some vegetable broth today, and you can get it in a liquid form like this, add a cup, or sometimes broth comes in these little tablets. So this is just solid inside. You unwrap it, throw it in a bowl, and then you add about a cup of boiling water, and then you have your broth to go. It's really cheap, and the pre-made broth is a great way to add a lot of flavor to your soup without a lot of work. So we already have a bunch of seasoning in there, and we've barely done anything at all. So again, it's on medium to low heat. We have our broth in there, and I'm also going to add a tablespoon of soy sauce. Now that might sound a little funny in a soup, but it actually adds a little kick of flavor without adding too much extra liquid. So soy sauce, I really like it. It's a bit of a salty flavor. So we have our liquid. Now we want to add our vegetables. Now normally you'd have to wash and chop a whole bunch of raw vegetables and wait for them to cook on the stove, but we want to avoid that. We're busy students, right? So choose any type of canned good vegetables that you like. Get about 3 cups worth and add those. So today I've chosen a variety of vegetables because if we get a variety of vegetables, we're more likely to get a variety of vitamins and nutrients. So I actually chose a can of mixed vegetables because that takes care of that. So we had some potatoes in there and carrots and beans and celery. All of those go really well with lentils. I also chose some beets, also came ready to go in a can, super easy, no prep involved. I like beets because they're slightly sweet and they go nice in a savory dish. So a sweet vegetable like corn or carrots or sweet potatoes, I find goes nicely. That's my preference. I also threw in some tomatoes that I had on hand. You can get diced tomatoes from a can. They're really cheap, very economical. And then you've got lots of a variety of vitamins in there. So add these to your pot or saucepan over medium heat. And these are already cooked, right? Remember to drain them from the can so you're not adding any extra liquid. And these are already cooked, so we're just trying to heat them up at this point and mix all of the ingredients together. So we have our vegetables. Now we want to add our lentils. So lentils are the star of this dish. They're very filling because they're full of fiber and proteins. So, a really great base for soup because some soups aren't that filling. This one should be. It's a good base for a meal. So we're adding 1.5 cups of lentils. Now these are also pre-cooked from a can. You can use any type of lentils because they have different types like yellow, green, red. Any of those are fine. Just make sure you drain the lentils, add about 1.5 cups. Now if you want to cook your soup totally from scratch and use lentils that are not already cooked, just see the instructions that come with this video, and I give extra instructions on the cooking time, pre-soaking your lentils before you cook them, adding extra liquid because the vegetables and lentils soak up liquid if they're cooking, right? So mix those together so all the vegetables and lentils are mixed. And lastly, we're going to add some dark leafy greens. So I chose some kale, about 3 handfuls, because they really cook down as they cook. It might look like a lot, but they really reduce in volume as they cook. So the kale is nice, so is chard, spinach, and those dark leafy greens, they contain a lot of vitamins and nutrients. So potassium and calcium are very common, lots of vitamin A and C. So just look for those dark leafy greens. So now we have a very colorful soup, which is great, right? Lots of colors means lots of different vitamins and nutrients. And I'm just mixing everything together, and then that's just going to sit on the stovetop for about maybe 5 minutes. You're just letting the leafy greens cook. They cook really fast, and you're just letting everything mix together and heat up because it's already cooked. So super fast. While it's cooking the last few minutes, you can think about what spices or herbs you might want to add. You don't need to add any if you don't have any on hand because there's lots of seasoning in the broth we added, but you can always add some extra pepper or a bit of heat if you want some chili flakes or maybe hot sauce even, or you can just go simple with a bit of paprika or cumin, anything you have on hand that you like. So super quick, super easy soup. Makes about 6 servings. Anything you don't eat, make sure you cover it. Once it's cooled down, put it in the fridge to keep it nice. Now if you get tired of soup after the first day or two, you can always turn this into a stew really quickly. Heat it up again to get rid of some of that extra liquid and add in some ground beef, some tofu, anything you like to make it into a stew, some beans. So this is a very versatile recipe, very quick. If you're feeling ambitious next time, you've got a little extra time on your hands, look at the instructions with this video, and I talk about how to make this from scratch with raw ingredients. But there's no shame in using the canned vegetables and already cooked lentils because you're still making it from scratch yourself at home, you know what went into it, and you have a really delicious, nutritious soup.